Alright guys, it's rained, it's snowed. We're waiting on parts to fix the combine, so there's not much content for today, so I'm going to finish some more of the equipment tour. Today we're going to look at planters and tillage equipment. Alright, the first thing we're going to show on our this part of the tour is our corn planter. This is our John Deere 1770 24-row corn planter. When I say 24, it's 24 row, 30-inch corn, so it's a 60-foot bar. This planter is, I think, a 2010 model. We bought it when it was either a year or two old. Can't remember right offhand. One kind of weird thing about it is it's not hydraulic drive or electric drive. It is chain drive, or it's got it's ground drive. It's got a wheel drive in it. It's kind of outdated technology, but that's just what we've got on it. We've never changed it over. Ideally, we'd like to have an electric drive planter at some point, but that's what we have for now. This planter does have E-sets. That's really, I think, the only modification as far as precision planting we've made to it. What else is there to say about it? I don't know how many bushel that tank will hold. I mean, it's a standard John Deere central fill. One thing we have on it is the row cleaners, Yeta row cleaners, I think is what they are. Before we had this planter, we had a 16 row, and we kept the row cleaners off it. They are that style of row cleaner. But we had to buy 8 more when we got this one, and these are the newer style row cleaners. I don't know which ones are better. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't plant corn very often. Dad plants the corn, I plant the beans typically. That's pretty much all for the corn planter. I mean, it's just a standard 24 row John Deere corn planter. Overall, we've had really good luck with it. Not a whole lot of issues with it. It does need some common wear parts replaced on it. It's starting to get a pretty high acre count on it now. I think we've put new openers on it once, and I think it's due to have a new set put on it again. But that pretty much covers it. Right next to it in this barn is the seed tender that I use. I figure we might as well talk about the seed tenders while we're here. This is a convey all seed tender. It says BTS 290. I don't know, that 290 cannot mean 290 units. I've never had that much in it. I don't think it would hold that much. You get 200 units of seed in there, and it's you're up on top with a shovel trying to cram them in there. So I don't think it'll hold 290 units. It's been a pretty good seed tender. We've had it for probably 11, 12 years now. No issues with it. It's got a Honda motor, fires right up, and yeah, it works great. The belt's got a few nicks in it from mice chewing on it, but other than that, it's worked fine. So move on to the next shed. All right, over here in this shed, we've got our bean planter. This is our 1240 Case IH bean planter. This is a 40-foot splitter planter. What I mean by splitter planter, it's a 15-inch. I mean, it's a 40-foot 16-row planter with a unit in between. They call it a splitter planter. We plant all of our beans with it. I think this is also a 2010. And it was also purchased used. We've had great luck with the planter. Had some of the best bean crops we've ever had with this planter. I don't know how much of that's to do with the planter and how much of that is to do with just good growing years and seed technology. But planter does a good job. It's all stock as far as case parts. There's nothing aftermarket on it. I know when we first got it, Dad was really skeptical about, he thought it was very lightly built, and it kind of is compared to the Deere. Seems like the units are not as heavy duty on this model. I think they've updated that in the newer 1245 series. But we've had great luck with it. I mean, right now this thing is wore out. It needs a lot of parts put on it, and we're still raising good beans with it. If we keep this planter, we do have some stuff to update on it. One thing we're thinking about replacing this with something a little bit different, but we're not real sure yet. If we do keep it, we will have to go through the units and replace some parts. But overall, it's been a great planter. There's a couple limitations with it. The design of this planter does not fold in half. It just picks up and pivots, which is good, bad. It's narrow transport, but it's kind of long like this. It just is what it is. But yeah, we've had great luck with the planter. One other thing I don't like about it, it only holds 80 units of seed, so you can't really plant a whole lot before you're out of seed, but you get used to it. But yeah, that's our bean planter. Like I said, we've had good luck with it. And next beside it, we've got our Great Plains drill. This is what we plant our wheat with. I don't know what year this is. It's been here for a long time. And up until this year, or up until 2008 or 2007, this is what we planted all of our soybeans and our wheat with. So it's got a lot of acres on it, but now it only plants the wheat, so it still does an okay job. Ideally, we would really kind of like to trade this off and the planter, and probably just plant 15-inch wheat. That way we'd only have one planter instead of two to do that job. But that's kind of I guess what we'd like to do. But for now, we're still using it. It does a good job planting wheat. It's pretty maintenance free. It's pretty hassle free. It's not maintenance free, I should say. We've replaced some stuff, but not major. Every now and then you'll have a bearing on one of the openers go out or something. Pretty common stuff. But overall, it's just a ground chain drive planter or drill, and it does its job pretty well. But moving on. One thing I am going to mention, that bucket truck is not ours. I know a lot of people are going to ask. That's why it's not an equipment tour. All right, that's it for the planters. Next, we're going to talk about some tillage equipment. This is our Blue Jet ripper. It's just a small 5-shank ripper. May look small, but 5 shanks going buried it all the way down. You'll stop a 350 horse tractor pretty easy if you hit some hard dirt. We don't use it all that much. We use it mainly just around the ends of fields where they get a lot of compaction, and I mean, we usually don't do a whole field with one. Just spots we see that it might be a problem. Last spring when I was using it, I've been a shank, still haven't replaced that, but hoping to get that out and on the 1038 in the future before the weather completely turns to crap, if that's possible. I don't know. The way harvest is going, might not happen. But move on to the next piece. All right, back in here in this shed in the I guess it's kind of dark in here, but there's Dad's seed tender. This one is set up a lot different. You just put the Pro Box, which a Pro Box holds 50 units. You just put a Pro Box in each side of it, and it just funnels out of the door of the Pro Box into there, into that little auger. I don't like it. I wouldn't use it, but Dad gets along pretty well with it. He's the one that plants the corn, so whatever works for him. To each their own. One thing I forgot to mention on the planters, Dad's planter is ran with a Trimble FMX Field IQ system, and the case planter is running through a Pro 700, and the monitor we're using for the drill is just a Dickie John, I don't know what they call it, Dickie John Seed Sense SE or something like that. If you want to see the backhoe tour, or a tour with the backhoe in it, try to put a card right here, or over here, or right here, I don't know. But move on to the next piece. All right, here's our old Cultipacker. We do not use this piece very often. We don't do a lot of heavy tillage, and I'm trying to think when the last time we did use it. It's been a long time. I think the last time we used it, we were disking some ground that we had tore some stumps out of and used that to kind of smooth it back out. It doesn't get used often, but it's here, it's paid for, it's not hurting anything, so we keep it. I think there's a sticker left up there. It says IH. I didn't even know it was a Case IH product. It's been that color of rust ever since I've been around. So moving on to the next. All right, over here we've got a strip till bar. We picked this up at an auction last winter, or it might have been the winter before. But this is a winter project that we're going to try to accomplish this year. We used to strip till a lot, and we used to put on an anhydrous ammonia with it. Not with this bar, but with a strip till bar. And the local co-op in town sold out, got rid of their anhydrous tank. And we didn't feel like putting one in. But we would like to strip till a little bit, so we're going to try to get that bar up and usable. And I mean, we have not used it since we've got it. It's kind of been in this shape. Needs new hydraulic hoses and a couple other things. It looks like it's, I don't know if it's a Yetter bar or just Yetter equipment on the bar, but that's that one. Over here is our old strip till bar, and Dad made this one. Yeah, this strip till bar, Dad made this in the shop one winter. Oh, probably mid-90s. Used it for 10 or 15 years until that co-op sold the tank. We tried running 28 in the ground with it, and I don't know, we had to use the discs instead of the mold knife, and we just never really used it that much. I think we'd put on 28 with it for a year or two like that, and eventually just switched to putting it on with the sprayer. I think once we got the Miller sprayer, we just started using it to put all of our 28 on. But yeah, he made that whole unit. I mean, I think he, I don't know if it looks like they're Blue Jet no-tills on it, openers, coolers, and I don't know what the what brand the rest of the equipment on it is, but yeah, it worked pretty good for its time. But now we'll go over and look at the next piece of tillage equipment. The next thing we're going to talk about is our Great Plains TurboMax. TurboMax is a form of vertical tillage, so you're moving less dirt. You're more or less just chopping up the residue. At least that's what we like about it. That's kind of how we try to utilize it. But the TurboMax does have the ability to adjust angle on the blades. See, right here is the gauge. You can hydraulically adjust the angle on the gangs of blades. So if you find like a spot you want to try to throw a lot of dirt, like a groundhog hole, or maybe like when the river gets out and washes corn stalks into place, maybe we'll make it a little bit more aggressive to try to chop that stuff up. It's pretty handy for that. Other than, I mean, if it's on zero, you're not really moving a lot of dirt really. But I don't know, these really became a big item about 10 years ago in this area. Well, it started off with the Turbo Till, the TurboMax. I mean, it featured the adjustable blades, and I think it has more blades closer together, if I'm not mistaken. I think the spacing on them's either 5 or 7 inches or something like that. But and a lot of people in this area have switched to these instead of using like a traditional disc. This is our primary form of tillage. We try to go over all of our corn stalks and wheat stubble with it, and typically we just leave the bean stubble, just leave it the way it is unless we rip it. In which case, if we do rip it, we'll go back over it with this to kind of smoothen that out. But this implement, it needs rebuilt. I think these are supposed to be 22 inches, and these are like 17 or 18. They're really wore. They need rebuilt. Just haven't got to it yet. That'll happen after harvest is over. So that's our TurboMax. I mean, there's a couple complaints with it. The main thing that drives me nuts when I'm running it, this back basket will get to bouncing. Like these back rolling baskets will bounce some, and that'll cause a ripple effect throughout the field. I think the new ones, that has hydraulic downforce on it. Or you can, nah, I think it does, and I think you can pick them up if you don't want them out there, so that might be something worth looking into if you're buying one of these. Better than that, it does what it's designed to do pretty well. It chops up corn stalks, manages residue pretty well. Right beside it, there's a grater blade. It's not something we use a lot. Maybe fix the driveway with it, or ripping out tree stumps, stuff like that. I mean, we don't rip the stumps out with that, but you know, collecting or pulling out roots and stuff like that. I don't know. It's hydraulically angled. This, or I don't know if it, I guess it'd be like a 6-way blade on a bulldozer. What else about it? I mean, it's just a grater blade. It does what grater blades do. So now we'll move on down. We got a cultivator. Somewhere around here we got an old John Deere disc. All right, next we got a field cultivator. I believe this is a 25-footer. As you can see, it is just sitting in the weeds. Dad bought this at an auction for like next to nothing, like $1,000 or something like that. And at the time, we had a lot of ground that we had clear cut and were getting into shape to farm. So we used it a lot that year, and we've used it for similar tasks every now and again. But it's definitely not something used every year. It's just an old cultivator. It's kind of, I mean, it's pretty wore out. I think the last time we used it, one of the wheel bearings went out, and we just took the wheel off, kept using it. I don't even know what brand it is. I think it's an Oliver. Could be completely wrong. That's speculation on my part. There's no serial number anywhere I can find, or tag, and all the stickers and decals are pretty well wore off of it. But it is green and red. But that's pretty much it on that piece. All right, guys, it got dark on me yesterday. I got one more piece of equipment for the planting and tillage tour. This is an old John Deere disc. I don't know what year this thing is. One of Dad's friends quit farming in the 90s, and he bought it at his sale, his retirement sale. It's another thing we don't use very often, basically just when we're cleaning up ground to farm. Pretty much like that cultivator. It is something that doesn't get used often, but when you need it, so we keep it around. Tongue's a little bent, so it kind of pulls kind of crooked, but like I said, we're not doing very much primary tillage with it, so it is okay the way it is. I don't know what the number on it is. I think it's a 23-foot disc. I'd say it's probably from the 70s, just a guess. But there's an old anhydrous tank back there in the background. But that's pretty much it on the tillage and planting side of it. We do have I think it's an 11 shank chisel plow somewhere, but I think Dad loaned it to a friend, and they use it. We don't hardly ever use that piece either. And I think it's from the 70s, holdover from when we did do heavy tillage. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Brian's Farming Videos, Twitter at Brian's Farming Videos, and Facebook at Brown Farms, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.